Hey, what's up? I'm Amobi Okugo, former professional soccer player turned corporate entrepreneur. Today, we're going to talk about what I would do if I was retiring right now to find my next game. I say my next game, but it's essentially my next career. I think a lot of times you see athletes struggle with finding their next game because they don't prepare for the moment ahead of time. I retired 3 years ago. If I were to retire today, this is what I would do. In an ideal world, you would have already made the steps during the latter part of your career so that when you do retire, it's a seamless process. But no one can ever predict retirement. Sometimes it happens when you get cut. Sometimes it happens just through injury. Sometimes you're in a contract and you get released. So you rarely ever get to predict when you're gonna retire, and it always comes quicker than you realize. But this is me talking in hindsight and giving you the game now. First and foremost, I would do an assessment. What do I like to do outside of the sport that I've been playing all my life? So what do I mean by assessment? I got to figure out what I like. I got to figure out what I'm passionate about. I got to figure out what I'm good at as it translates off the field. It's easy to talk about what you're good at on the field, but what skills can I take from my passion and my career on the field that I can push and translate over to the next phase of my career? So I would do an assessment. Similarly to how we get assessed on the field. All right, personality, strengths, weaknesses, skill sets, passion points, touch points. Create an assessment. One thing I would even do is do it like a Cliff Finder, Strengths Finders test. This is a great assessment to help you figure out what lane or what identity you identify as. It could be, oh, I'm more leaning towards entrepreneur, or I'm leaning more towards operator, or I'm leaning more towards consultant, or I'm leaning more towards creative. These are things that you can do to help you identify and assess lanes and pillars that you can be in. The next step is I would build my network, and not build my network as in you don't already have a network, but build in terms of like organize my network. So this is where I would look through my old Rolodex of if I went to college, all right, what's my college alumni looking like? Who's in my hometown? Who can I connect with on the teams that I've played on? Who can I connect with for the brands that I've worked with? Who can I connect with just, again, through life experiences? I would build and curate my network and organize it and label it. Who's going to be a sponsor? Who's going to be a mentor? Who's going to be an advocate? Who's going to be a facilitator? Who's going to be someone I can call upon for questions? As I organize my network and I figure out the lanes I want to be in, that's when I start making those asks, making those connections, making those touch points, informational interviews, lunch and learns, walk and talks. These are ways that I can curate my network to expand my reach. The reason why you want to expand your reach is because as an athlete, you're siloed into just sports. But say you want to get into another lane, say you want to get into a job, say you want to get into a different career. These are ways that you can use your network to help open up doors. And then the last one is I would figure out how I'm going to use my sport as a vehicle to launch my next career. And when I talk about launch my next career, you can't wait. You have to hit the ground running. So the biggest thing with athletes is we're so used to having the playbook and following a playbook, following a set of rules, having our schedule made for us. But this is the immediate time where you can fail within reason. You have to make sure your run rate is up to par. Your finances are in order, but you need to try a lot of different things so that you know what you don't want to do. And then as you figure out what you don't want to do, you're going to get closer to what you do want to do. And then when you figure out and you're locked in on what you do want to do, ideally, I want to remind you, in an ideal world, you would have already had this figured out because you're doing this during your career. But say you didn't, you'd figure out what you want to do, and then you go all in on that until maybe you realize that, all right, this wasn't the path with me. But when you're hesitating and you're waiting for things to come to you, that's idle time, doesn't lead to anything good. So you have to be proactive. You have to be a go-getter. You have to try things. You have to throw paint on the wall and see what sticks. Because if you're so stuck on, oh, I'm still an athlete and things are going to happen for me, that's not going to happen. You have to go get it. So just a quick 3-step guideline: assess, network, and go. If you can do that, things will happen a lot quicker than you appear. Obviously, if you're like a top player and you've made a bunch of money, it's more about you're finding the next purpose because you have enough money and you've done the right things. But this is for a lot of the athletes, 95% of the athletes that are gonna have to work after they're done playing. This is the strategy, this is the protocol, this is the formula that you should use to help you find your next game. Because as long as we've played sports, we have a longer life ahead of us. And it's important for us to use sports as a vehicle for that life, that next game, than just rest on our laurels of what sport was for us in that life. Yeah, so that's the 3-step formula if you're looking to find your next game after you retire from your sports career. I know it's not easy. Every transition is different. Every pathway to the top of the mountain is hard. You know, you've lived all your life. You've played a sport that you loved from the time you were 5 to 6 years old, and then it comes to an end. There's nothing easy about that. Not a lot of other people can relate. So if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, or just need help, don't hesitate to reach out. I've done it. Others before me have done it, and I'm looking to be a resource. So yeah, like I always say, the vision is clear, the road is not. Okay, you go.